Welcome back. We're talking about writing for grade 10, 11 and 12, and in this segment we're looking at explanations. And what about this task? Write an explanation of your own actions in, for example, a letter of excuse. Obviously, you're going to be looking at writing an excuse, which includes an explanation, and you're going to present your work in the form of an informal letter. Again, always steps in the writing process. Your planning and pre-writing is the structure you're going to use. Aspects of language, what should you consider now? The simple present tense, possibly. Maybe the simple future tense. Conjunctions, words showing time, result. Your register will probably be formal. Remember, it's an informal letter, but you're giving an excuse for your behavior. You don't want to sound too slangy and casual. So think about this, how informal, how formal. Obviously, there's going to be some information because you're going to have to excuse yourself, so there's going to be some fact in this. But there's also going to be some excuse. So that's probably going to be emotive. You're going to be showing your emotions, and your emotions are your feelings. So look at what you're balancing. How much fact, how much emotion. We've talked about conjunctions and logical connectors for time. We've talked about conjunctions showing cause, words like because. You'll probably be using the active voice. Remember, what is the purpose of this letter? It's to excuse your behavior. Who is the audience? The person whom you've upset in some kind of way. And what is the context? Well, the context is, what did you do? When did you do it? Why did you do it? Why are you having to apologize for what you did? So think of all of that as you're going to start to write. Let's take a situation. You didn't attend a practice. And what's worse, you didn't excuse yourself beforehand. Often happens in a school situation. Now you're going to write a letter. To whom would you be writing this letter? To your coach. What are you going to do in the letter? You're going to explain and you're going to apologize. Brainstorm ideas. Always get your ideas going. So say to yourself, well, why didn't you go to practice? You suddenly felt ill. How were you ill? Well, you were nauseous. You know when you feel sick as if you're going to vomit? Nauseous. You're lightheaded. Oh, I feel terrible. Right? What did you do? You went to the sick room at school. And then what happened? The secretary phoned your mother. Your mother said, get a taxi and go home. But she said, okay, you can't do this by yourself. So she sent your aunt to fetch you, and your aunt had to sign you out of school early. Obviously, you can't just walk out of the school. Somebody's got to sign you out. So mum can't come. Mum sends the aunt signs you out. Right. And what happened? You forgot to leave a message for the coach. You could have left a message with the secretary. You could have left a message with a friend, but you forgot. Why? You were feeling too sick. Then what happened? You stayed in bed for a day, and now there's a letter from your mom attached to your letter to explain. And you're really, really sorry. Remember, I've said, find out how you're going to be marked. What is the criteria? Remember, at this point, you've got your ideas. Make sure they're in a logical order. Obviously, here you want to say, this is what happened. This is why it happened. I'm really sorry. That's the logical order. Write the rough draft. Read your draft, get feedback from your friends and your teacher, evaluate your work and other people's writing, work on the sequencing and linking of paragraphs. Always worry about your grammar, your spelling, and your punctuation. Right, let's try it. That's what the address would look like. Then, dear Miss Sibeko, I apologize for missing the practice on Thursday. There it is. During the 5th period, I suddenly felt very sick. I was nauseous and lightheaded, so I went to lie down in the sick room. I got worse, and so the secretary phoned my mother. She said I should go home, but she didn't want me to take the taxi by myself. I waited for my aunt, who signed me out of school and took me home. I stayed in bed on Friday, and now I'm feeling much better. I apologize that I missed the practice. I shall try not to miss another one this season. Now, how do you sign it? I've suggested there that you write yours sincerely. I don't really want regards because that sounds too casual in a letter that you're apologizing for something that you've done wrong. You can't write yours faithfully. That's too formal. This is somebody you know. This is your coach. So I like yours sincerely. To an adult, somebody you respect, but somebody you also know. So there it is. You've written your rough draft, you've written your final, you got feedback on the rough draft from your friends and your teacher, and you've made the best possible effort that you can. You're writing an explanation, but it's in the form of a letter. In our next segment, we're going to continue to look at writing and presenting.